Hey guys, Adam, N-Scale BNSF Scenic Pass. Today I'm going to do a little video on how to build these bridge footers up to put steel plates on them for bridge feet and all that kind of stuff. These were 3D printed by my friend and coworker Don. So thanks to Don, I got a bunch of these to put on my layout for bridge footers. So let's get started. So, obviously, a couple things you'll need here. Bridge footers of your choice. Styrene. This is 0.40 by 0.312 or 1.0.79 millimeters. This will be used for the actual steel plate portion of the footer there. This will go on top of these like that, and I'll cut them square. And then this rod here is 0.30 rod, or 0.030, sorry, just a rod. That's all it is. And then that'll be used to simulate the lug bolts, or to attach the bridge to the actual footers. To drill the holes for the actual bolts there, the styrene rod, I have this little drill bit here. It's kind of hard to see the actual size of it. That's 1.0 by 8. It just comes in this little kit here. I got this at Harbor Freight. It's a little pretty handy. There's another set that comes with this too, of different smaller sizes. But that's what I'll be using to drill the holes. Then, of course, M.E.K. Put it all together. This is the first time I've used 3D printed parts, but M.E.K. worked just fine with the other ones that I did. If anybody's seen my post on Facebook about the footers that I did. So, nothing really to prepare with these. I might sand them down a little bit. Some of the marks on this side aren't very realistic as far as concrete segments. And this will just be a how I do this to build these up. It's not a how-to or how you should do it. It's just how I do it, or how I did it. So let me go grab sanding block. I'll be right back. All right. So just got this little sanding sponge. Just gonna take these a little bit on each side. To try and get rid of some of the 3D printer marks. Some of them are okay. Now, there's like a beveled edge kind of around the edge. I'm not too worried about that. I'm not trying to get rid of it. I'm just trying to get rid of some of the 3D printer marks there in the middle. Some of them are okay. They're pretty straight across. Found some of them are kind of rounded off. When you put the paint and stuff on them and the washes, you can see that. You just have to put them on your layout to where you can't see that then. And then I'll go across the top a little bit. Just in circles to keep it even. Not a whole lot, because it's going to get covered up. You're not going to see those printer marks there. The hole in the middle there was for originally I was going to put the bridge vents. The feet were going to go inside there, and I was just going to build plates around it. But I found it's easier to just plate over that and then have the bridge rest on top of that. There's no weight going to be on these, but it's easier to do it that way. So, all right, let me get these all sanded up, and we'll continue. All right. All four of those are all sanded up, and it's good enough. They don't have to be sanded a lot. I mean, you could sand them if you do this. If you print your own, you could probably sand them where you get rid of these lines. I'm not too worried about it. Once I paint them and weather them, you're not going to see, and I'll show you what they look like all painted up and weathered on the layout. But the ones that I've already done, I got these 4 and then 4 more to build after this. I'm building the other tall bent here. And too, I got a whole bunch of scrap pieces of microengineering bridges and whatnot laying over here. So, alright, so the next thing to do is, so I got these, and these fit just on here. It's where there's a little bit of a gap around the edge. So, I don't do anything fancy here. I just eyeball them and cut them with the snippers here, the sprue cutters, and then glue them on with the M.E.K. So we'll just eyeball it up here where it's about the right size. This is what I did with the other 4 that are already on the layout. And I'll come in here and just make a little mark there. Like that. Got it. And then we got a little square. And that'll sit right on top. I get to stay there. Just like that. It'll be weathered up to look like rusty steel then. Like a steel bridge footer. Just like that. And let me do the rest of the 3 here. So now this cutter leaves a crushed edge on the one side when you cut it. So got to trim that off every time. And you get one of those choppets. These Northwest Shortline choppets. Those things work great. Gotta get one. Make this a lot easier. I can make them all exactly the same size. Yeah. Let's see if they're even close. I have to trim this one a little bit. It's a little long, a little odd shaped. It's alright. People aren't going to be focusing on this little piece here. Off. It's good enough. You're not going to realize that it ain't perfectly square when it's weathered up and painted and on the layout under the bridge. Nobody's really going to notice. I mean, I probably will because I'm the one to build it, so I tend to look at stuff like that whenever I'm building my own stuff for the layout. If I did something wrong, it's going to bug me. But that's okay. I'll put that one in the back. Yeah, looks pretty good. Let's get one more here, and we'll start putting them together. And then, yeah, I'll have to invest in one of those cutting tools because this would be a lot quicker than me sitting here trying to eyeball it. I mean, I probably could take one and trace it and do it whatever that way, but if one's going to be off, then they're all going to be off. Okay, there we go. And we got all 4 of these. These will be the plates on top of the footers, just like that. And they'll sit on there like that in the center. And then let's glue them on. Get them centered up as best I can. Again, when they're painted and weathered, you're not going to notice if they're perfect or not. Finger stuck to that one a little bit. That's alright. That one's not perfectly shaped, but that's okay. I'll put that one in the back. Not too worried about it. And then, okay, there's all 4 of those. Let those set up a second. Set our M.E.K aside. Best bottles in the world, these fine tip applicators. I love these things. Sometimes it comes out a little too fast, but it's alright. Alright, let's get number 1 here. This one. Take our tiny little drill bit. These things are great for drilling precise holes. I think you can put these in a drill press or a drill if you're careful. Might snap the bit off. They are from Harbor Freight, but so I just go in the corners here and drill these holes out. You don't need to go super far in here. These are just for decoration. I go until I see gray plastic. Until I see the 3D printed plastic there. You see a little bit of gray coming out of there. I'll go through and drill all 4 of these holes in the corners. You could probably sit and map this out if you wanted to have them 100% accurate in each corner the same place, but I'm not terribly worried about that. I'm not the world's best scratch builder here, so these will be good enough for end scale when you're looking at the layout from 2 or 3 feet back. Sorry if my hands are in the way here. It's kind of hard to film this and drill at the same time. Clean the hole out. So there's our 4 holes. Take our fine rod here. And we'll, let me see here. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab some to put some of this M.E.K on. Just hold on. Got a piece of cardstock here. Put some of this on there. Now it's probably going to soak it up. We'll get this rod in there. And we'll put it in the first hole. Just like that. And I just trim it off higher than I need it. That way it's not hanging on. A little bit more. Soak our rod in there. Next hole. Trim it off. You can always add more. We'll straighten these up a little bit too. A little crooked. Trim them off short. It's not gonna notice that. These are probably a little big for end scale, but not gonna really notice it. This looks good to me anyways. I've been on some bridges on the real life railroad, and some of the nuts and bolts are pretty gigantic. Okay, those are in, just like that. And we'll take our cutter here and we'll trim them off really far down. Just kind of eyeball it, make sure they're somewhat same size. Like that. Now we got a bridge footer with the anchor bolts for the footers, for the bridge feet. They look pretty good when they're painted and weathered. Let's do the rest of them. Go through and drill all the rest of these holes here. You can go in as far in as you like here if you want to get that rod in there real far. And maybe I'll do a video on weathering these up. Drill them with these little bits here. You can feel when you hit that 3D printed plastic there. And it starts to drag a little bit on the bit. You could probably fit this bit in a pin vise. I got a bunch of those, but almost lost it to the floor. Okay, there's all the holes drilled. And if you're like me, if you have ADHD, put it away. Don't put it down, because you put it down, it'll get lost. Alright, same process as I did for the first one. Clean up some of these little strands of plastic here. Put some M.E.K on our cardstock. Soak the rod. I could use a little scraps for laying on the desk there, but I'm sure people have scratch built stuff, have tried to fiddle around with tiny little plastic parts, and trying to fit them in there can be a little fiddly, and I don't feel like doing that. They'll end up in probably a bottle of M.E.K there. You don't need a lot to stick this stuff together. That's what I love about this process of building things. That it melts together pretty quickly. I could probably use some more. It's not barely hanging on there. Let's get that drill bit back out and drill that one out. I'll get a bigger piece of rod here, because I'll be there for 20 minutes trying to fiddle with that, trying to get it in there. And I don't want to make the video that long, and nobody wants to watch me fiddle for 20 minutes with a little piece of plastic. Okay, let that set up. We'll do the other 2 footers here. Always go through and straighten them out, because they're going to go in a little bit of an angle. You trim them off. I mean, you're not going to tell if they're askew or anything like that, because they'll be so short in there and they're so small. Won't be able to tell anyways. And the last one. And we'll trim them off and we'll go look at the ones that are over there at Gainer on the layout. Okay. Put that one back there. We'll trim these other ones off since these are already set up. Not all the way down, but to a reasonable height to where you have some sticking up, that way you can weather it up in. Just like that. And the last one. Okay, there we have it. Four of these footers ready to bear the weight of the bridge. Alright, let's go take a look at the ones in the layout. Alright guys, here we are. Here's the ones that are already on the layout. Here at the bridge, gotta build the bent for there. There's the baggie of them. Thanks, Don. I gotta build a bent up here. I gotta build a special one because these footers are about half the height of from the ground there to the bottom of the bridge. But yeah, I think they look pretty good. I didn't put any bolts in that one back there in the corner because I couldn't get it in there with them on. So, but the other three have bolts there, and you're not gonna really be looking back here. It's kind of hard to tell with the way the lighting is here. So I can turn the light up here a little bit. There we go. Yep, there's that. They're on there. These two in the front I glued in. The ones in the back are just sitting there. They're held in place by pressure, and I gotta fill in, sculpt the mold and lamb form around them anyways. So, but yeah, other than that, that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching. Have a good day and happy modeling. We'll see you for the next update here. Once I get this bridge done, I'll probably do another video update. But that's about it. See you guys later. Thanks.